RayKaz's Anxious Confidence EP has been described as many things. Zimsphere says it is an expression of top-tier lyricism. Nova Black says,
if you listen to A-Riz, if you listen to Nasty C, if you listen to Drake, actually, let me say that, if you listen to Drake, then you have to listen to Anxious Confidence by RayKaz. And I know this might seem like really bold statements to say about a new artist or to say about a Zimbabwean artist, if we're being honest, but then I stand by that. I stand by that. If you go listen to this project, if you listen to the words, the arrangement, the vocals, every single thing, and my statement, the declaration I just made, doesn't make any sense, come to me. Be like, yo, Nova, I got a bone to pick with you. Trust me on this one. Trust me, you have to listen to RayKaz, and I need you to remember that name. Don't forget RayKaz. Don't say I didn't tell you about RayKaz. This is me giving you, recommending, this is service. This is service to humanity. You need to listen to RayKaz.
We would like to say it is a lyrically dense yet sonically aesthetic, countercultural masterpiece that at its core gives a nuanced take on vital subject matters that are often overlooked by Zim hip-hop. Ray Kazembe, or RayKaz, born 23 August 1997, is not your average Zimbabwean youth mascot. At face value, his story isn't one that inspires a great deal of empathy, particularly in a country like Zimbabwe. If one was to pull Ray's life file, they'd hardly point out the glaring struggles that shape the average Zimbabwean life. If anything, upon any interrogation, his life tale has that surreality of an early 2000s Hallmark movie. A football protege, born into relative privilege, or at least a life that most Zimbabweans would dream of, who had his career cut short due to an untimely ACL injury and had to pivot to music to pen dreams shattered. So, what makes this young man's project the most important project, not just on mental health, but in the Zimbabwean hip-hop domain as a whole? This out-of-nowhere, prudently layered and thematically coherent EP that really feels like an album, not only due to length, but how polished it is, takes the listener into an unforgettable journey into the mind of what I'd like to call a rap genius in the making. To begin with, the title of the project is Anxious Confidence, an oxymoron. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, home of classics like Irregardless, to many Zimbabweans' delight, an oxymoron is a combination of contradictory or incongruous words, something as a concept that is made up on contradictory or incongruous elements, which is where the beauty of Anxious Confidence comes in. A title like that would spell a screwed, daftly clustered hard listen riddled with sonic inconsistencies and cluttered thematic uniformity, but RayKaz manages to piece together a body of work that not only thrives in unison to the hip-hop head and the casual fan, but can also stand on its own as single pieces of digestible art. We are taken into the world of Ray Kazembe, the person, through 13 tracks as he wrestles and struggles against mental vices like social anxiety, inadequacy, and self-doubt. The ordering of the tracks, 13, an odd number, clearly indicates that one takes precedence over the other in the case being confidence, which in this EP shapes up in the form of RayKaz, the artist, who not only takes pride in showing his lyrical dexterity, but also has to put up with the posture of what societal norms dictate a rapper should appear in, braggadocio and finesse. The introduction to the project perfectly narrows down who RayKaz is and how he feels forcibly placed as a square in society's circle. He is lent a hand from poet Munyamurapa, who also assumes the voice of RayKaz, the person, consistently throughout the project. Munya begins.
As I walk through walls, My conscience is unhindered by culture's rising.
RayKaz interjects with, echoing his approval as he is unbothered and shows his nonchalance towards the culture's continuously evolving norms and prescriptions. Munya picks up again, this time showing his awareness of the toxicity the society possesses and how it's
They're pointedly poised to poison my soul.
RayKaz takes over from the hook, and he already illustrates how he isn't conforming to the standards that most rappers are held up to. What is deemed as a win in the culture doesn't faze Ray, and whether this is literal, the 10 cars, the comfortable houses, and the girls, or pseudo-success, RayKaz is honest about the emptiness that life brings.
Ain't no difference, me and y'all the same. Yes, I fall, I bow my head and pray. Wash my face and cleanse my sins away. Call on God, he see my soul to take.
This is a man fully aware of where he stands and how he has been blessed with what he has. However, he is coming in the rap game as a newborn to announce his name. In a society where turning to a deity is usual practice, RayKaz confirms that his lowest, he always turns to God, that his problems are not new, unique, and can easily be anyone else's. In this single verse to the intro, we are put under no illusion that RayKaz wants success as the artist. He knows how unique he is and how his messaging comes with its own flaws in crossing over to the masses he wants to reach.
I don't feel like going nowhere, so might as well get used to the glare. Elevator trip to success, nigga. Might as well get used to the stairs.
From someone who started writing in 2014 and had to sit on the sidelines battling his demons, he is proud to have overcome them and drop a project like this.
Shout out, dog. Everything is very intentional. That's why I've been writing since 2014, but I only came out with one feature in 2019, one feature in 2020, and then my first official project. The first songs I ever made and put out into the world, even as a single, was my project, and that was just very intentional. I just wanted to just pop out on the scene out of nowhere with this incredibly polished, incredibly world-class, heavily lyrical, heavily sonically pleasing clusterfuck of an ambiance of a project that owns are like, who the hell is this guy? I've never heard of this guy, but he comes and drops a project that could compete with any project anywhere in the world, not just Zim. That was my intention.
As alluded to on the intro, RayKaz paints the picture of his desired success, and his hypothetical fantasy is explored with anxious caution on desire. He picks it up from that elevator trip going up as he starts the verse.
Way up, easy points going up like layup.
He is cautious of what his success may entail, so he continues turning to God with,
in the layer, head bow, prayer, protect me from a player hater trying to spray a rail.
a nod to the last gunshot sound we heard on the intro. Ray definitely gets into his element here, showing his technical skills as a rapper, flexing his newfound position, and he justifies why he's on the stage with a couple of playful bars and cartoon and game references.
Super Saiyan, like a mayor, freezer cell, seeking more to combat and drag. Hold up, okay, slow it down, flex, breath, fresh like Mentos, slick fade on tempo.
With his faith still intact, RayKaz is candid about how he's ready to get muddy with anyone who threatens his kingdom in this feigned reality. The bridge is a stark contrast of his tone in the first verse as he goes from cool, suave, and saucy to protective and abrasive. RayKaz is fighting back.
Twitter fingers turn to little fingers, bitter niggas. My little niggas turn to sit-up niggas. When it's crunch time, how they coming at Shakur like Tupac and a Feeny. I'm cocking the dingy, come round my head on pop with your beanie. It's gang signs you couldn't throw up if you thoughts were bulimic. When shit get real, you not to be seen with.
The tone definitely stays consistent through to the outro, but it's watered down, somber, and even regretful, as if he's back to his reality awakening to the reality of now. He has won, but what is the price? Code is where RayKaz snaps back to reality, literally as well as lyrically. He's still honest and consistent with his theme of non-conformity to industry standards, while simultaneously acknowledging his seat at the table, which he seeks to gain through merit. He knows he is late, but he's coming at everyone's necks.
Downsize, get you downsized and the chalk line outlined. Late coming, but the fam told me that it's about time, got mine.
Code is RayKaz at his most countercultural, calling out the phony and counterfeit image posed up by his peers in the culture.
23 on 23's Jordan year. I ain't never been wrong. Seeing whack niggas going back and forth, shit starting to look like ping pong. Ice cold hypothermic sub-zero froze on, you ain't really snowing like that. I was having real life chats with the Benz, oh, you ain't really blowing like that. You was on the phone trying to maintain image, knowing you ain't really going like that.
Even gangsters have soft spots, and in his continual reality, and RayKaz takes a vulnerable approach on CJ's song, expressing desires for what is real in an alternate reality of him with his girl. The production on this one really shines as it takes the listener to a hilltop, old school jams, playlists, and stars radiating on the windscreen as time stands still. The love expressed by RayKaz and his mystery girl is an antithesis to what mainstream media subjects audiences to. Lyrics like,
My heartbeat is deeper than body, take it with a clothes deeper than body, know what goes on.
aren't friendly to mainstream rap culture, as hip-hop has always advocated for a macho template for the male rap figure to adhere to. This will be deemed soft and out of character. Arguably, the best song on the project starts again with Munyamurapa, the voice representing our protagonist, RayKaz, as we are back to our main continuity. The sound of Nabila almost feels like an extension of CJ's song, but this time, RayKaz is awake. He's still fighting the lingering poison to his imperfect soul. As in the intro track, RayKaz echoes these sentiments as he is aware of his reality and still fending off the demons in his mind, barely escaping. In the 6 minutes, we delve into the mind of RayKaz as he touches on everything that's on his mind.
Me, just personally, innately, I'm so conscious and overthinking as a human being.
An overthinker by nature, he expresses his thought process in what can only be described as a clustered, rambling masterpiece of lyrical prose. In what feels like a reintroduction or even reminder of who RayKaz is, he takes an ear-friendly approach here, but still manages to condense all his thoughts in a masterful way that doesn't waver the lyrical integrity and denseness of subject matter of his thoughts. Verse 1 reminds the listener of the casual, relatable posture Ray is clamoring for.
It's RayKaz, rocking a tight shirt with the slippers, a nice smirk. Pimping this light work, if you listen it might hurt.
He reiterates his drive to reach the top if he's given a shot, and should it come, he is not letting it slip.
It's a nice versus the difference, don't mention me with the flop. Never swallowed the liquor, but all I need is a shot. Never follow the figure, fuck with the media prop. Don't see a reason to stop and give up my seat at the top.
Not letting go of his true side and maintaining an easygoing flow, we see Ray bring back the playful tone with the cartoon references to avoid sounding repetitive about how truly the end goal for all this is making money.
Only trying to acquire cilantro, that's green chasing. Shit is only neat cause we dream chasing. Thinking mills, M's on my head when I'm speed racing.
A cry for help is apparent in the hook as Ray is at his most honest about his mental state. He struggles with it all and hope is seemingly distant. He is true about the way he deals with it all through crying, but the tears dry up quicker because he has a girl on his side. CJ? It doesn't last long as self-doubt creeps in the second verse, reaffirming his doubts about every living past, tomorrow, and questioning his faith in God he's been praying to. The rap dream seems crushed as he questions the purpose of it all, when everything around the world seems to be crashing and burning. He shows remorse and sorrow, opting to be selfless in his dream chasing as anyone else who would be blessed with their dream life at the expense of the world, still remaining broken, would choose self over everyone else. As his self-doubt increases, he questions everything that has been normalized or swept under the carpet in the Christian faith. From child sodomy to extravagant cunning prophets who prey on congregational funds. In this approach to verbally reprove what many fear saying, Ray brings to light before anyone that he isn't fully qualified as his own relationship with Jesus is based off truth and honesty and not on church pews and cathedrals. The irony in this narrative that Ray chooses is in disqualifying himself, he takes an observatory approach in addressing societal ills up to the point has been consistent in calling out and ensuring that he isn't swallowed up by its enticing flaws. Ray, out of character, ends up preaching about how social media has taken away the art of discussion, likes and retweets the new drug, Black Lives Matter, racism, misogyny, rape, porn, and political wars. He wants all this to end permanently for everyone, and he yearns for Jesus' return. He seems to show that the rap pinnacle is chapter, not destination. There is no true freedom until we are all free, as the adage goes. The outro is humorous and self-deprecating, but still summarizes the project in a few sentences. Ray jokes about his depression and how he exhibits signs of being an overthinker, that he'll cram all his thoughts in a single thought, but still conscious that no one might listen. After Ray's perfect picture of black excellence, a story of rags to riches, the illusion is shattered as RayKaz enters a new phase where he has to own up to the rapper title. He struggles through depression and self-doubt. Not Real is the first track in which he tries to get his demons out of the way by warning his fellow peers and preaching to himself about the journey that lies ahead. Munyamurapa echoes RayKaz's mind, picking up from Nabila's intro. The escape from falling deep into the abyss of depression is even narrower as he starts powerfully on the first verse.
Every day I wake up is another fucking challenge for my demons just to beat them, and I'm thinking about how life is getting harder and I might just make it shorter. Nigga finna call it quits, and I'm thinking about now.
He references how he mentioned in Nabila that his religion isn't found in cathedrals and why he finds himself dreaming more often, because right now everything is bland. Flowers are colorless and the sun isn't as bright as it used to be. As he begins to doubt his skill as an artist, how he has been crafting his sound, and even if he had reiterated that he's as good as they come, he quickly confirms his fears to us in the hook, stressing how he fears he'll be easily forgotten and can get replaced by anyone. The hype doesn't prevent any of that from happening. With family relationships waning, as someone who grew up in a detached family, it doesn't help with his mental state.
I grew up primarily with my stepmom because my dad was usually always at work trying to, he's just a workaholic, so it's just tough when both of your biological parents are like kind of not there. One is literally physically not there, and one is more so emotionally not there because they're trying to provide for you. But it was just a weird situation growing up, just the emotions. I've had social anxiety pretty much since I was born. I've just always been super shy. I've always been unable to talk to people and whatnot. I remember these episodes from kindergarten, so that was the hardest part of growing up, just not being able to talk to people the way I'd like to, not being as confident as I'd like to. And obviously growing up in Zimbabwe, growing up in Harare, things like social anxiety, like being shy, like the struggles that you have that come along with that, it's kind of viewed as a white people disease. We don't really do that, like that doesn't happen here, but it happens, dude, and it's a lot more prevalent than people like to admit. So that was really hard growing up. Maybe it stemmed from the fact that my family situation was so weird. I had gang siblings, about 6 siblings, 2 older, 3 younger. That's what, 5, then I'm 6. Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, best friends with my stepmom.
Not one to linger on sorrows or spoiled milk, the rapper's rapper, that is RayKaz, shines in easy, which as the title suggests is very easygoing. Ray is now fully in rapper mode, taking up all the stereotypes that come with the territory and wearing every jacket that the game requires him to wear. He's doing well. Or is he? He has a good girl, nice girl. He's a better rapper than your favorite and wants you to hate him. But nothing is ever truly easy with RayKaz. His ordering for the track takes an interesting structure. Verse, bridge, verse, then hook. His love for the unconventional continues to shine. In his newfound voice, as he is owning up to the label of the rapper who just came up and is tearing the game up, RayKaz raises the bar on Spider-Man, the ever-depressed kid who has spent most of his life fighting social anxiety can identify the frauds, chiefly those who weaponize mental health ailments to their own gain because it's fashionable. RayKaz owns up to his demons and has instead used it to improve his lyricism, so the game definitely notices.
Niggas be faking depression, don't even know how to be broken. I used it to my advantage, the beast that's inside of me woke in.
Ray is very aware of his standing in the culture. He draws inspiration from the confidence that he is different in how he expresses art. He knows he is rapping at a technically elite level. Not one to take handouts, he reminds himself and the listener that he can get muddy if it came down to it. The fact that he has been to the UK, lived in Dubai for a while, and stays in the upper echelon suburbs does not have any bearing on who he is as an artist. He's ready to punch in the clock. No freebies here.
Then what I did, drop, they came for the cloud, still they stay for the vibe. Then what I did, pop, I've been a kid since I came from Dubai. Know I'ma shine if I gotta shine, know I'ma grind if I gotta grind, know I'ma move if I gotta move, know I'ma do it if I gotta do it.
RayKaz steps a bit out of his element and complements the "no, I'ma do it if I gotta do it" bar as he adopts a more common, well-known style in the incongruously named Zazise. The patterning and layering of the verses would signify lack of depth in the subject matter as they are engulfed by a lot of cussing and abrasiveness that Ray has shown intermittently. In all of the lyrical chaos though, he warns off those who might misinterpret him and still manages to remind the listener not to forget who he is as an artist, even if he might take a few compromises on the way to the top.
So snitch, I heard you was talking the worst way. You shouldn't have said shit in the first place. I told you I'm gonna for first place. I bet you don't sleep on the wordplay.
The next track exemplifies why RayKaz doesn't want us to sleep on his skill, even if the sound is wavy and usually aligns with trivial content. In Juice, he ropes in fellow rapper, producer, and friend Sun to deliver arguably the most thematically out of sync, radio baiting, speaker busting track in this whole project. Ray is confident now and he experiments with a lot of flows as well to show his skill and versatility, bringing in one of the smoothest flow switch-ups in the whole project.
Coming for the kid, kinda risky. Double black strong like whiskey. Don't come roundhouse trying to chop it up. I might karate kicking with some bullies that coming like Scottie Pippen. I'm the shit, you ain't shit, bro. You potty skipping. Way stronger than if a tsunami hit him. Your cock is ticking, sweaty, been in the camp. Concentrating, writing shit that's as hard as the Nazi prison. Going coffin shopping for the fuck of it. About time that I start putting bodies in them. All pickpocket, PD pop. No. Painting pictures, people cops.
The collaboration is also very intentional. Ray anticipates his own success in rap music so much that when all eyes are eventually on him, he doesn't want anyone else in the industry to get the credit because he did this on his own, from learning to mix and master, engineering, and other skills from YouTube tutorials, which explains the lack of big names on the production. Most of the tracks were produced by his friends, and the only rap collaboration is with his friend, who actually sent him the track to begin with.
So literally from me learning how to download music recording software to finishing the project was 2 months of just constant YouTube, constant whatever. And the reason I just wanted the voices to be so minimal was because I was like, all right, you know, granted, with God's will, this project blows up maybe a couple years from now. I want to get all of the credit because nobody helped me during the creation of this thing in terms of like the technical stuff, aside from the producers, obviously, and whatnot. So that's why there's so few, but I just feel like Sun had to be on there. That's my boy. He actually sent me that beat with the verse and he was like, bro, I don't know what to do with this. Do you want this? So I was like, you know what? My project needs a banger. This is perfect for me. So that's why he was on there. And, you know, he's just, you know, Sun is Sun, dude. He's one of the best.
3 verses aren't enough for RayKaz. He refuses to let up his skill for sound. What he shorts for subject matter, RayKaz almost exhibits an inferiority complex by showing superior skill by rapping even more on the 4th verse as the track subsides. He's using a different flow, voice, and rhyme pattern than he used before, which not only ascends in pacing but also in aggression, and he almost sounds like he's pleading at how incomparable he is to his peers. It's truly masterful.
Let's go. Harder to imitate. Ain't no one like me. This shit'll start on my little reign. How did I pull up and raise the bar to infinity? Look at the game and it look like part of my dinner plate. And they already been afraid. Man, you got to be kidding me. So presidential, just like Obama or Kennedy. Not like the galaxy.
In Reaper and Runner's outro, RayKaz finishes as he started. On a low, he is not defeated, but still concedes to his struggles. His candor is almost biblical, something reminiscent of the Book of Psalms. Ray calls back his hidden prayer from the cold intro, invisible to the naked ear, where he laments time moving slower and questions if anything is worth living for.
I can see the pain. I can feel 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 the pain. I can see the pain. I can see the pain.
The theme picks up and comes to a conclusion in the closing track.
I can see the pain. I can see the pain. I can see the
A journey of wins and losses, Ray is honest about how he stays intentionally on the low so he can count the highs as a way to cope with his depression. The last bars on the track are the most important as they encapsulate Ray's mind and the battles he has been fighting consistently throughout the whole EP.
house with the ceilings the same. Anxiety building as big as a building is built in, and I do not think I can change. Please don't interpret my kindness for weakness. Defeated, that's part of the fame. It's one and the same.
RayKaz may never win his battle against anxiety and depression, and he is aware of it, but he still doesn't let it cripple him from making art. J. Cole had Forest Hills Drive, Kendrick had Good Kid, Mad City, projects made to outlast the test of time, and one that embodies each artist's personality and character. RayKaz wants the world to turn to this EP to easily identify with him, depending on how far the music takes him. To some, his art is expression, to others it is escape. To RayKaz, it is a beautiful concoction of both, and it is this contrasting synergy that has given the world the beautiful magnum opus he aptly called Anxious Confidence.